What's up, everyone, and welcome to the Real Ones Canes podcast. His name is Cam Underwood. He's managing editor of a great website called State of View. Go check it out immediately, if not sooner. He is on the X at Underwood Sports. I am Brian the Beast London. You can follow me on the X at Miami Radio Beast. And Cam, we start the show as the Canes continue their fall camp as they make their way to the August 31st date at Hard Rock against Notre Dame. And we start with the real rankings of the preseason being released. Yes, the coaches poll came out last week. We didn't even discuss it. We didn't even bring it up. But they're not real.
Look, all rankings matter, Brian.
Not in my mind. There's only one ranking. There's only one true ranking.
Okay.
And that is the ranking of the Associated Press.
Said like a long-time journalist. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, long live the UPI, but, RIP. So the Associated Press came out, and lo and behold, Miami is ranked the same spot they were ranked in the coaches poll at numero diez, number 10. And I didn't have any strong thoughts either way as far as is Miami ranked too high or too low or what have you. I feel like it's just about right. It just feels okay. It's fine with me. I have nothing to I have no bones to pick with the number 10 ranking. What say you?
I think it was definitely a made for TV ranking. So that the opener against Notre Dame is a matchup of top 10 teams.
Obviously.
I think it's a little inflated for the beginning of the year. I think that Miami has a top 10 roster. I think that they should end up in the top 10, should have a record that pushes towards the playoffs. But based upon what we've seen and the uncertainty of how the new additions on both sides, on all three faces, fit together, I think 10 is slightly inflated, but that's because of the brand name of the University of Miami and, our multiple, 5-time championship history and just being a major blue blood of the sport. And then just, you take that, I would say like 13 to 15 feels right to me, but you take all of that and then you sprinkle in, they have the Sunday night opener against Notre Dame, sprinkle, top 10.
Well, I kind of agree with you on it could be slightly inflated.
Mm-hmm.
But that's me looking at where I think they'll be at the end of the season, as in, I don't think they'll be here. But that's for a different show. We will get into our predictions possibly next week. But what we need to look at, though, is when you say made for TV, I think you're right, except for one spot, the top. Because the top of the poll, right, has Texas number 1. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And Penn State number 2, but then Ohio State number 3. And if they really wanted to do a made for TV thing, wouldn't it be Texas and Ohio State 1-2 in some order, just to have, we're going to have number 1 versus playing number 2 in the first game of the season?
Well, there is a measure of that. And two things can be true. Like, I think that it was made for TV in terms of where Miami is. I know with just the preponderance of returning talent at Penn State, if they basically said, okay, these two teams are equal, we're going to put Penn State above, the Acorns from Columbus. I can see that. So, it's not necessarily the entire formation of the AP poll, but in terms of Miami landing at number 10, I think that. And I did look at, there was someone who posted all of the votes because they're public for the AP poll.
Oh, yeah, I did see that post, yeah.
But it was definitely not a consensus Miami 10. Now, there were a couple of people who had Miami at 6, and I'm like, yowzers. And then there were a couple of people who had Miami at 19, and I'm also like, yowzers in a different direction. But, I think that in the end, it did have, it came to fruition where it was very advantageous for the television show that is the season opening football game on my cousin's birthday, August 31st.
Well, happy birthday to your cousin in a couple of weeks. Happy birthday to you tomorrow.
Sunday.
We're recording this on Thursday. Cam's birthday is on Sunday, but he told me he didn't want to record on Friday because the party is coming to town and it will be a long
The
weekend.
party's been here, baby. What you talking about, man? We just got to turn up. Yeah, so lots of birthdays 2 weeks apart in my on both sides of my family.
Right.
So the Underwood side and then the Rose side from Detroit. So like through this July and August, it was one Sunday, then the next Sunday, then 2 weeks off, then my uncle, then the next week was my mother on the 3rd, then 2 weeks later to the day is mine, and 2 weeks later to the day is my cousins, and then there are a couple, aunts and uncles and people by relationship status who are sprinkled in there as well. But yeah, man. So
it's a busy month for you guys. Busy month.
Yeah, busy 2 months. Basically all summer.
Oh, nice. All right. So looking back at the top 10 before we move on to the next topic real quick. Just to go, in case whoever's watching or listening has it, it's Texas 1, Penn State 2, which I disagree with because James Franklin will screw that up. Ohio State 3, Clemson at number 4. Okay. Georgia at 5, Notre Dame at 6. So you have a 6-10 matchup coming up on August 31st. Oregon at number 7, Bama 8, LSU 9, then the Canes. The next ACC team, or the only other ACC team in the top 25, is SMU at number 16. Just in case you were wondering, the Gators are at 15. Why am I thinking that Clemson's ranked too high? Am I just because I hate them? Or
yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
I
knew it. I kind of felt like it was.
But
I kind of felt like it was personal, but
yeah.
I thought maybe they're.
No, they're pretty loaded.
Damn it.
Yeah. And if their quarterback plays like he did in pretty much every game other than the opener last year, that's a formidable opponent from Clemson, South Carolina. So, I don't necessarily think that they're overranked. Plus, their defensive line is just, it's been, for years and years and years, but their defensive line are some,
I feel like Dabo Swinney is very unlikable.
I agree.
A matter of fact, I would call him unctuous.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice University of Miami vocab word there. But look, I get it where he is unlikable, therefore you dislike
correct
the team and program. But even with someone that you find to be dislikable, like credit where it's due. I was going to go on a rant. I'm going to give you the very, very, very short version. Brian Kelly is one of the worst people ever to walk the face of this earth. And I will let everyone remember that for always and ever. And if you ever need more narrative for that, go check out Underwood Sports, because I've gone on the rant about him and all of the malfeasance that he has wrought upon people, one particular young gentleman who is no longer on this mortal coil. But I say all that to say, I detest that person. I think he's one of the worst people ever to walk the face of the earth. That being said, he can recruit and coach some goddamn football. I personally hate it, but it's pretty true. You know what I mean? I get it where
But he's also not really good at faking a Louisiana accent.
The family. Anyways,
speaking of accents, by the way, the Hurricanes did a bunch of press today. It was Thursday afternoon. They did a bunch of press today with Mario and the two coordinators. And part of my heart was blessed by Corey Heatherman's Boston accent. I felt like I was listening to one of my fellow Bostonians, one of my fellow massholes. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
So that's the top 10 and the top 25. SMU being in the top 25 makes sense. I think what Rhett Lashley is doing there is obviously really good for that program, and Miami will see them in Dallas.
Let me ask you a question before we move on.
Yes, please.
Brian. The ACC starts with 3 teams ranked in Clemson, Miami, and SMU. Over under 3.5 at the end of the season. How many teams will the ACC have ranked in the top 25? Under 3.5.
It'll be the same 3.
It'll be the same 3. Okay.
I think the ACC is going to take a bit of a step back. To be honest with you, that's if I look up and down at the conference. I mean, look, there could always be some surprises, but there's just some like a Virginia Tech have just been meddling sucky for a while now. There's just some teams that it's just all right, I don't see any improvement. I don't see what's going on there. I don't understand, but you never know. We could be surprised, but if I had to bet, I would say 3 ACC teams in the top 25 at the end.
Just a quick, react thought. If I were to pitch you Louisville as potentially ending the season.
Okay. I mean, like, it wouldn't surprise me.
Okay. I just want to get, hey, we're just talking. I want to get your idea.
If I had a quarter to spare to throw down, or like whatever the minimum bet is on the Hard Rock app or whatever you can use in Florida, I would throw it on 3. I would throw it on the under 3.5, but nothing would surprise me. So that's kind of how I feel about that. Yeah, Louisville. Like if Louisville ends up there, it would not shock me. That's totally within the realm of possibility. All right, real quick.
So I'm going to follow up with the follow up then.
Follow up with a follow up.
Yeah. Is there an ACC team whom, if they were ranked at the end of the year, it would surprise you? So you've said Louisville wouldn't. You've, put in obviously Virginia Tech has talent, but they've been middly sucky. Is there a team in the conference where you're like, if they're ranked, it would be at the end of the year, it would surprise you?
You know I'm smiling, right? Because you know what I'm thinking. You know what team I want to say, right?
Say it.
Just to poke Bears or Knowles.
Say it.
Florida State. That would surprise me. I mean, I know they got a new quarterback. I get it, but even when I was up in Tallahassee, touring that campus, which is beautiful, but that city, which has got awful. When you started talking to people in like the local burger spot or the local pizza spot, I didn't feel like they felt very confident. Like, sure, they're rah go Knowles, but if you really started, like, I had some conversations with people just to like, hey, what are your thoughts? Like, maybe I can get some insight. I don't know. You never know who you run into at the pizza place. It's like when they started talking, it was like, yeah, go Knowles, but I don't know. So, if they're going to feel that way, then I'm going to feel that way. But hey, if they make it to the top 25, props to them. May the force be with them. All right. So as we talk about the top 25 and we talk about who's going to be there in the end, that means where's Miami going to be in the end? And I don't want to make that prediction yet, but what I do want to ask this question is, what are we thinking makes for this team what do we think makes for this team to have a successful season? Like, what is a successful season for the Miami Hurricanes? Both in our perspective and the fans' perspective, because I think they may be different, those numbers.
For me,
go ahead.
For me, I think it's aligned.
Okay.
The University of Miami Hurricanes football team,
yes,
has been building towards greatness or towards championship contention for a while. Specifically under Mario Cristobal in these 3 years. And it reminds me of the growth path of my Detroit Lions, because I'm a Detroit native and I love the Lions. And a couple of years ago, I got into some altercations with NFL fan friends of mine because I said, look, we have a quality team and we have now expectations, and I'm leaning into those expectations. So much so that when they put an automatic loss on, when we're doing the wins and loss prediction thing, it's put an automatic loss on the opening ring night in Kansas City 2 years ago. And I said, wait, we might lose, but there is no team in the NFL with whom we cannot compete, right? And I said, no. And I said, because they were like, no, hey, whatever, they're light years better than you, different field, different game. Well, I said, no, we've built it to the point where expectations are reasonable and acceptable and required. So all I'm saying is we can go compete. We ended up winning that game, which, hey, awesome. I say all that to say that I view the University of Miami currently in that same growth path and iteration. So for me, a successful season is minimum 10-2 during the regular season. There is no combination of 3 regular season losses by whatever amount that is acceptable. Period. So do with that what you want. I believe that, and if you're looking at from talent on the roster, from returning production, from quarterback, from offensive line, from all these different component pieces to, 5, 7, 10 wins in the last couple years and, whatever. All the parts of the picture to me say this must be 10-2 at a minimum in the regular season, come hell or high water. Anything short of that is unacceptable. Now, I will put a caveat on here because I know people watching and listening are going to say, Cam, if we lose 2 non-conference games and only 1 conference game and make it to Charlotte and win the ACC conference for the first time since we've been in this conference, is that still substandard? I would then tell you, yes, because that will have depressed our college football ranking seed, and it would inhibit, like, just, I think, 2 non-conference losses from a narrative perspective would inhibit the path forward, and eventually we would lose. So that's my whole soliloquy. 9-3 or worse is unacceptable. It has to be, is a requirement for this team in this season that they win a minimum of 10 games in the regular season and make it to Charlotte.
Okay, so basically what you're saying is they cannot do any worse than they did last year, or else it is not successful because they won.
Even the same as last year of 10-2 and not making it to Charlotte is not acceptable.
Okay.
My estimation.
So let's put 2 things. There's 2 things, right? Their actual win and loss record, and also their final destination of like where they get to as far as the postseason, right? So, for me, yes, I think they need to win 10 games, but it is more important to me that their final destination be a playoff. They need to be one of the top 12 teams. I don't care how they get there. I don't care what the numbers show or whatever. That's what. So if they win the ACC, perfect. If they go to the ACC against Clemson and lose by 2 and then they still get to the playoff, perfect. If somehow they wiggle their way in some math matriculation that has them not going to Charlotte, but they still end up in the playoff, fine.
I'm going to stop you there. That one's not going to happen. Because they won't let it happen. Because if it were going to happen, it should have happened last year. But instead, they put Miami, So
yes,
yeah.
I agree. But I'm just saying, in the 0.2% chance that it happened, I'm throwing that out there exactly. I'm throwing that out as a scenario. So for me, what has to happen for them to be a successful team? Because all Mario preaches about over and over and over, right? And you and I both know that because we've watched and been to enough of his press conference.
Heard it
from better every year. We get better every year. We get better every year. Well, if you're going to get better every year, that means you got to go up from last year. Last year, you weren't in the ACC championship, so you got to be in the ACC championship. If you're in the ACC championship, well, you got to be close enough or win it and then go to the playoff. That's my thought process.
Okay.
Now, let me ask you a question. If I went out on these streets of South Florida, where it's still really damn hot, do you think the average fan agrees with us?
Yeah, in sum total, I think so. I think that, if you're looking for a number on the answer, then yeah, at least 10. If you're looking for significance of season in case, in terms of path, then you would say, college football playoff. Look, Brian, you know as well as I do. Those are the expectations when this team has been bad.
Oh, correct.
So, we can go back to the Al Golden era. We can go back to Randy Shannon. I
will take it even further back, Cam, okay? When I was a junior at the University of Miami in 1997, Butch Davis was the head coach. Back then, we didn't really comprehend how hard the sanctions and the scholarship losses, the 30-plus scholarships we lost, had hit the team. And I'm looking at that 97 team. I'm preparing to do games on WVUM. I'm, doing my sportscast on UMTV, on Sports Desk, and all the stuff. And we're breaking stuff down. I'm uncomfortable in a shirt and tie and a jacket because I'm a college junior and I'm not ready for that primetime yet. But still, we're breaking stuff down. And we're looking at this 97 team like, oh, yeah, we might be as good as that 94 team that went to the Orange Bowl against Nebraska with Warren Sapp. And lo and behold, hey, yeah, you had a bunch of talented number ones, but you had no one behind them. So we didn't really know how to factor that. But yeah, we looked at it and we're like, oh, this is the best team ever. We're Miami. Ha, ha, ha. So yeah, there's always going to be those fans out there that no matter what the reality is, they're going to be like, we're the Canes. we're going to win the national title. I don't know one thing about anything, but I'm just going to tell you we're Miami. And
yeah, look, that's it.
Fine.
It's a Canes thing you wouldn't understand. And I mean,
Correct.
for 1997, at least I understand it because at least from the viewpoint of there are top line superstars across this roster. It's, paper mache and dreams behind them, but like you could look and see,
right.
Superstar. My point that I, was saying from the most, the past 20, 25 years is even when teams have been lightly talented with tough schedules and coming off of bad seasons, there's still a preponderance of people that, I run into or talk to who are like, oh, nah, man, it's, 11-1 and, championship and blah, blah. So, yeah, that's just pretty much a standard. So, I mean, I think that most everyone would readily agree. I mean, I think the only people who would look at or have a different view of what success looks like for this season are haters or opposing fans. Because you can't reasonably tell me with this program, with what we've spent on these players and staff and infrastructure and everything, you can't tell me reasonably that 7-5 and the Sun Bowl in El Paso is acceptable. Now, if you're UAB or New Mexico State, 7-5 in a Sun Bowl is great. But, we have better players, better coaches, better ingredients, Papa John's. Like, I mean, also like 7-5 in a Sun Bowl ain't it. So I think, yeah, pretty much everybody would agree.
So just some facts on the schedule to help people out there who want to argue with us in the comments. And please do. Please hit us up in the comments, subscribe, share all that stuff. Tell your friends to get on the discussion. Miami starts the season with 4 home games. Now, granted, 2 of them are against top 25 teams in Notre Dame and Florida with Bethune-Cookman and South Florida in between. Then you're in Tallahassee at Florida State. Then you don't go on the road out of the state of Florida for the first time until Saturday, November 1st at SMU. You only have 4 road games on the season at Florida State, at SMU, at Virginia Tech, and then to end the year at Pittsburgh. The schedule is, if you can somehow pull a victory out against Notre Dame, but even if you don't, if you can pull a victory out at home against Florida, the schedule is favorable with the amount of home games and the fact that you don't leave the state of Florida until November for you to build up some momentum and hopefully not see it absolutely go to hell as it has in previous seasons.
On the flip side, 3 of your 5 games in the month of November are on the road.
Correct.
November 1st is SMU homecoming.
Correct.
So they will be keyed up for that. Your final 2 games are in Blacksburg and in Pittsburgh. So it will be cold and it will be colder for those. You know what I mean? So like there are the opposing, or not opposing, but a different view of difficulty exists. And then you add on top of there where Miami has not traversed a November in a positive way in a good long time, even going back to 2017 when the season of dreams fell apart to a freshman who didn't know anything named Kenny Pickett at Pittsburgh the day after Thanksgiving.
I don't want to talk about that.
When it came up on the rotation that Miami was at Pittsburgh this year, my immediate thought was whatever else they put on the schedule, that's going to be the last game. Duh, because you got built-in talking points because that time that Mark Richt and company fumbled the bag.
I don't know which game had my blood pressure more skyrocketed, that game at Pittsburgh or last year against Syracuse.
Pittsburgh for me.
Yeah, I mean the Pittsburgh, you win that one, you're number 1 in the nation. Like
because of that.
Yeah,
and also as well in addition.
But also you didn't have Cam Ward at quarterback, so I don't.
Right, but the thing I wanted to bring up, which I covered at the time on stateofview.com, and these pieces live there, of course. There was such a massive group of elite 4 and 5 star blue chip recruits.
Yep.
Who that whole 2017 season were begging for offers, begging for official visits. And remember,
any examples?
There were just tons. There were so many.
Sorry I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I apologize.
I mean, I was just thinking about I can tell you offline, but yeah, there names that names that are still playing football and being compensated at a very high level. That's all I will say. That was the Jarren Williams came down for the second game day against Notre Dame season, if y'all remember. And outside of him, because he was committed to Kentucky at the time, and we're like, cool, yeah, we're going to go flip your blue chip quarterback. Thanks. Past that, the staff intentionally said, hey, we hear you. We love you. We want to bring you in. Chips to the center of the table. We're going all in on this national championship. So even though we need you for the next versions of greatness at the University of Miami, we don't got time because we got to focus on that. And after we beat Notre Dame, Miami had a very, very strong case that week to be ranked number 1 in the country. They did not end up, but they could have been. And all of that had been built, and all of that momentum in recruiting, everything with that season, and then because recruiting is the lifeblood for the future. So your current season and the potential for greatness in the future all died at noon in Pittsburgh that season.
Question.
Yes, sir.
Would those be, if I'm looking at databases, would that be the 2017 or 2018 commits?
That'd be the 18 recruiting class, my good man.
Okay. I'm looking down the list just to see if I spot any the ones that stand out.
Any players who were offered that
yeah, but so far, if I'm just looking back at all the recruits, I don't the way that 247 has this organized is really hard for me to. Oh, there we go. Okay, let me do this. This is great. Okay, so let's see. That was the Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields class.
Trevor
Parsons
Lawrence, who Miami offered after his freshman year of high school, I believe.
Yeah, Micah Parsons is in there. Amon-Ra St. Brown, you know him a little bit. Patrick Surtain the second from down here at American Heritage. Tyson Campbell from down here at American Heritage. Let's see. I'm going down the list. Jamar Chase was in that class. Who
originally committed to Kansas, by the way?
Yeah, for sure. We keep going. I know this is exciting podcasting / YouTubing. There's got to be. What am I missing?
I mean, without giving any of anything away.
We did get Nesta Jade Silvera though.
We did. We got
Mark Pope and Lorenzo Lingard.
Indeed. Say a couple more names.
Well, no, the list just. Where did you go?
Oh,
no, you're here. The list. The list left.
Oh, the list left. Well,
okay, here's what we need to do, Cam. For the next show, you and I will confer, and we will compile a list of who Miami missed out on because of that.
All I will say is, and I know people are going to rewind and go back when I say this, at least 2 of the names that you mentioned were among the cadre of players who Miami had recruiting momentum with, and the momentum died that night or afternoon in Pittsburgh. So I say all that whole diatribe, and I know that I'm a short story long person, but y'all love it. That is why the loss at Pittsburgh in 2017 was worse to me than Syracuse, even though Syracuse was good. God, bro, what are you
this
doing?
This is who Miami offered back then. Okay, Trevor Lawrence. Don't forget about Arthur Sitowski. That was a big one. Cam Rising. Let's see.
I wanted Cam Rising, by the way. I mean, obviously because of Cam, but I remember I wrote about him a few times.
Emory Jones. Joe Milton III. Let's see.
Strongest
Running
arm I ever saw.
back, Zamir White. Let's see. James Cook. He's done okay for himself out of Northwestern. Let's see. Oh my goodness, there's so many.
Right, exactly. See. There are so many.
There's so many. We did get Realist George, so that was huge. Amon-Ra St. Brown. Let's see, Terrence Marshall. Jalen Waddle. Anyone heard of him? Let's see. I mean, it just keeps going. Josh Moore, the one that went to Texas. Brian Hightower, we got him though. CJ Moore. Let's see. Tyquan Thornton. Out of Booker T. He ended up going to Baylor.
Yeah, but we didn't really. We offered him and went after him, but it was kind of like if you want to stay home, cool, but we're prioritizing other guys on this receiver list of offers.
There was Elijah Moore out of St. Thomas.
He was another guy that we kind of offered but slow played. So I'll cut you off there.
No, I want to keep going. This is amazing. This is the best.
This is amazing for you and me. I'm sure that this is really bad podcast. It's going on. The bit has gone on too long. So I would just say, yes, there are a lot of great names there. And
Kyle Pitts.
I mean, well, it's ironic that you say a lot of great names and you mentioned that bum. But yeah, there was more to it than just the loss then. And I know people are going to say, well, Cam, you were very critical of the close of the 2025 recruiting class, in part because we didn't close the season well and lost that game at Syracuse. I agree with you that we did not, but I don't think that there was the same direct correlation and connection with losing at Syracuse and losing some of the commitments or recruiting battles towards the end of the cycle last year. I think those situations have been already pretty settled. But yeah, it was, to me, the loss at Pittsburgh in 2017 was way worse and more impactful than the loss at Syracuse was last year. But let us know, listener, watcher, viewer, what you think. Hop in the comments and chat.
Yeah, jump in with us. Yeah, there was a lot of players in that class. Asante Samuel Jr. Anyone? Just throwing it out there. Sorry, I apologize. I'll stop now. Okay, we're gonna take a break. On the other side, we are going to do this. We're going to talk about the position groups that we are most confident in, and the position group that we are least confident in. That in your way. That and more comes your way on the other side. You're listening and watching the Real Ones Canes podcast. Welcome back to the Real Ones Canes podcast. He's Cam Underwood, managing editor of State of the U. If you go to stateoftheu.com right now, you've got all sorts of good stuff up there. We got a breakdown of the Virginia Tech Hokies, who we mentioned in the last segment, are pretty meddling. We got a game preview of the Canes and SMU. That was written by Cameron Underwood himself. Hey. And the Monday Musings, all sorts of stuff is up there at stateoftheu.com. The all new looking stateoftheu.com. Yep. Cam, it's a great website and it's free.
I mean, those are great things, and it's always talking about the University of Miami Hurricanes. So yeah, please come on over and fan with us. Brand new redesign, optimized for mobile. So we've heard your feedback of, most people, just scrolling on their tablet or their phone, and redesigned the entire architecture of SB Nation and the component sites to just work better for you guys. So yeah, please come on over and check it out. Got a bunch of stuff, and we will have even more as we go towards the season.
Yeah, no doubt about it. By the way, I'm Brian the Beast London. I don't edit or manage really anything. You can follow me at Miami Radio Beast. All right, let's dig into this. So I've been listening to a couple podcasts, reading some articles. Everyone's trying to break down position groups on this team. So I said, okay, let's Cam and I jump into this. So the way we're going to jump into this, we're going to give you the position groups that we're most confident in on this team. We're each going to give you one. And then the position groups that we're least confident in. We always do a snake draft situation. So Cam is going to start. Then I will go second, but then I will go first in the next category. And then Cam will finish it up for us. So Cam, the position group you are most confident in on this team.
It is low-hanging fruit. It is the obvious choice. It is the group. Because you knew that I was going to pick it, and
exactly.
I would look stupid
we're there.
if I did not.
Correct.
Simpatico, that way. It is the offensive line.
Yep, for sure.
It is among the best units in the country for that position. I mean, it's among the best units, period, especially at its own, classification. There are, Alex Mirabal has said 8 or 9 guys who could start here or pretty much anywhere. It's to the point where, there's a bunch of dudes, man. Like it's just it has everything that you want. You fit the physical optimal archetype all over the place. You have tackles who are actual tackle sized now, which was not the case in years gone by, where we had guys who should have been playing guard, playing tackle. I'm not going to call names because I've done it on the website and on other shows, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
But yeah, we just have an elite room, and even the true freshmen, the youngsters, have a level of quality to them where I don't necessarily trust freshman offensive linemen fully, but we don't have to trust them fully. And then they add quality depth where you can, if you have 8 or 9 guys that can be your ones, that means you have a full 3 deep 5-man line, or worth of dudes who,
Right.
if you piece it together, you could make things work. So yeah, short story long, I am most confident in the offensive line, what I believe to be a top 2 line in the country, maybe not 2. It's an elite group with elite talent from left to right, top to bottom, 3, 4 deep. There you go.
All right. So I could have easily come here and gone, you know what? The other side of the football, the boys up front on that side, ton of potential defensive line. I'm not going to do that, though, because I think I am most confident in a room that is one of the smallest position groups as far as rooms goes on the team, but they pack a punch, and that is the running back room. I think the running backs are sensational on this team. I'm hearing amazing things about the fall that Jordan Lyle has had. Chamar Marty Brown has come in from North Dakota State, and he may be only a redshirt sophomore, but he is acting like a 5-year veteran. He was freshman of the year at that level last year. He is all of the things. He has won a lot of football games and played a lot of football. And, listen, Mario Cristobal does not give good press conference. It's normally very boring, and he does that on purpose because he never wants to tell you anything. But the one thing he lit up about today when he addressed the media was Marty Brown and just the amount of running plays that he can run and what he can do with the football, the looks that he can give you. So that is great. And you realize that I have not even mentioned Mark Fletcher Jr., who, of course, is coming into his junior year. Granted, has suffered injury, has gone through personal loss, has been on a long journey, but as talented as anyone, as you will see. And, oh, yeah, the freshman Gerard Pringle coming in from Armwood. Like, I just really love this room and the talent that's there. And I think kind of the different body types a little bit, right? You got Mark Fletcher, who's listed at 6'2", yet you got Marty Brown, who's 5'11", but he's like kind of stocky. Lyle is a speedster. Like you got all the things in that room that makes me excited about it.
I mean, yeah, it's a great room. And I also just want to shout out Chris Wheatley Humphrey.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Who averaged like 11 yards a carry as a senior in high school.
Yeah.
So another speed guy. But yeah, it is, fewer in number than the offensive line room, obviously. But not really lesser in talent. Yeah, that is a great pick for the room that you're most comfortable with.
All right. So now the positions that we are least excited about. Now, there's 2 standouts in my mind.
Okay.
And I don't know what, like, I have to pick one, right? Like, I can't just be like, nope, I'm not going to answer this question, even though it's my own question. Like, I can't do that, right? You're not going to give me permission to chump out?
No, I am not letting you skip questions.
I think I'm least excited about the linebackers, Cam. And I know I've been making that case for a couple of weeks now. And I know there's talent there, and I get it. But, like, to me, no one's proven anything yet. in my mind. Like no one's really like, yes, Wesley's had some great, like some guys have had some great games. Popo's had some games. Like some of these guys have had games, but no one has had a consistent or season where I've gone, hey, that guy's awesome. Right? Like Dan Morgan is not walking through that door, right? Sean Spence is not walking through that door, at least not in my mind yet. Could he be there? Possibly. But I'm not feeling it with that group. Not yet. They have to, they're going to have to prove something to me.
Fair. Reasonable. Yeah. That was also my answer, in case you couldn't tell.
Well, so, I mean, okay.
I don't want to pick the same, but if I were, like, my answer would be linebacker. Like, it has been a point of contention for a long time.
I think there's another one that's a close second, to be honest with you.
Yeah. No. I hear you. I just wanted to address my thoughts on your thoughts.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
I love your thoughts. But yeah, it just, linebacker has been a position of pain for Miami for a long time. I've written and talked about it, about needing to throw numbers at the program, about needing to get more athletic, about needing to change scheme to have guys play well for a long time. So yeah, that's always been a position, even with, even recently, even last year, wasn't really all that high on. The other one for me, not that I'm least excited, but I think has the most to prove.
Okay, that's a good way to put it.
Is safety.
Oh, shocking to me. That's not where I thought you were going to go. Okay.
Yeah. Last line of defense, all new guys stepping up into bigger role. So Zachariah Poyser, freshman All-American, but that was at Jacksonville State. I need to see him do it here. Jacoby Thomas played very well at Tennessee. Need to see him do it here, and need that pair to work together because there's the element of teamwork there. Dylan Day stepping up into a bigger role. One that your fellow masshole Heatherman said, watch out wherever he is on the field because he hits you strong and he can get the ball out, right? Cool. Love that. And then he didn't get into the other names of like who's really pushing for like that second tier on the depth chart for playing time. But yeah, I need to see it more. And I think I know where your other option was or what you're going to say.
Do you want to say it or should I say it?
No, but I'm going to let you say it. But my point was by not saying it is the horror, nightmare, night terrors that I have from last year's secondary. It made me say, hey, even though we've addressed it by new personnel, right, I'm going to point that out as one that needs to show and prove me something, as opposed to this other position, which I have a better recent rapport with. So they need to show and prove something to me, but in a different kind of a way. And I will let you say which your other option was.
Well, my other option was going to be wide receiver.
Bang.
Because you talk about throwing numbers at a position. There's certainly numbers. Like you look down the roster at the potential of guys, right? Jojo Trader, Nye Carr, Ray Joseph, Malachi Tony, Dalen Upshaw. Then you bring in guys like Tony Johnson from FAU in Cincinnati, Keelan Marion from BYU and UConn, CJ Daniels, obviously, we didn't see him in the spring, but like
Josh
all of these
Moore,
guys,
Chance Robinson,
Josh Moore, freshman, all these guys, right?
Yeah.
There's a bunch of guys there, but there's no one that I'm willing to say, that's my boy. Like, that's the dude. Yeah. And maybe you don't need that, but man, it feels good when you have that guy.
True. And I mean, Shannon Dawson today said you can reasonably expect that we're going to play more of a rotation this year than last year because you really had 4 dudes at receiver.
Right. Correct.
They
were 4 good dudes.
They were 4 really good dudes who were the receivers on the number 1 offense in America.
Right.
Isaiah Horton, Sam Brown, Jacoby George, and Xavier Strepo. I'm sorry. These guys, they were out there hooping. So no, we're not going to rotate and give development opportunities because it's, again, the number 1 offense in America with the number 1 overall draft pick. So, for me, since that was the case, and we had such strong performance on offense with those dudes, yes, the new dudes at that position need to prove something to me, but they need to prove that they can step into a level of success that we have seen. My position that I named at safety, I need these dudes to step in and rewrite the narrative. You know what I mean? They need to change the performance completely. We just need to have seven dudes have the aggregate performance of 4. I feel much more comfortable with that. And then if anybody separates themselves, cool. But I don't need 1,000-yard receiver. I'll take 2 600-yard receivers. But you can get it in the aggregate, but at least they're replacing the positive performance. Here, you're not replacing the bad. You need to rewrite it on defense, which is why I personally chose safety over wide receiver for my
I'm gonna admit something that's not surprising to really anyone, which is Cam knows more football than I do. So I'm going to ask you this question. If you're Carson Beck, if you're a quarterback, like, what is life like for you when you don't have 1 or 2 guys that are like your mainstays, when it's constantly a rotation? Granted, you could theoretically have the same offense and the same production, but I don't know, man. There's something to be said about that connection, that intuitive connection between a quarterback and a wide receiver. You know, we saw it obviously with Cam Ward and Xavier Restrepo, but even if it's not that tight, I just feel like in theory that rotation sounds great and they're all talented and blah, blah, blah. But like, I don't know, if I'm a quarterback, I don't know if like you got me to the truth serum, if that's what I would really want.
I mean, I think that you need to have the relationship with guys, especially in tight spots. You know, like, yeah, rotate on first and second down, but like 3rd and 3, like, yeah, 3rd and 3 on the road at SMU in the 4th quarter. I need my guys, whoever those guys are. So,
by the way,
yeah,
just sorry to interrupt, but like,
no, go ahead.
That guy could end up being Elijah Lofton, right? Like we're forgetting about the pass catching abilities. Yes, I still have a home phone. We're forgetting about the pass catching abilities of a tight end. That is going to be pretty awesome.
True. I mean, so there are other options available as well. But yeah, I think that the rotation, I think there will be rotation. And I think that you can be okay with that because the scheme should carry you. You know, like guys getting open, running the routes, the intricacies of, you know, where a guy prefers it and, you know, like whatever, all those different kind of things. I think you would see the rotation shorten in low red zone and money downs. So the where the field is compacted and, you know, we need to know that we're reading the option route the same way as quarterback and receiver, something that pisses me off to high heavens on the CFB video game because I see the space on the sticks where I want you to go here and then the receiver chooses to go the other way and it's an interception. No, I need you to be simpatico. So yeah, low red zone and then money downs. I think that's where you would see the rotation shorten, and then the guys who are on like at the top of that rotation or on the link with Carson, that's where it becomes more clear.
All right, we are 2 shows away from the first game against Notre Dame. We're getting down to it. Cam, thank you as always. Kids, go check out stateoftheu.com for all of Cam's stuff, as well as all of the great stuff done by his entire staff. Please subscribe. Please share. Please tell your friends. Please scream it to the mountaintops. Please comment and get into a fight with us on the YouTubes and the podcast and all that stuff. We would love that. Hit us up on the socials. Cam's at Underwood Sports. I'm at Miami Radio Beast. Until next time, we will see you right here on the Real Ones Canes podcast. The phones are ringing. Peace.